Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming, and many of you will probably recognise the scene I'm talking over, which is XCOM 2, which is a game I play tons. It's kind of my go-to turn-based game. I wouldn't say it's my absolute favourite turn-based game. Actually, I've mentioned this on the channel before. I think Enemy Within is a better overall game. It has more components to it, with all the meld thing and the cybernetics, and the fact you've got different weapons you can give to each one of your soldiers. Even like the range units can all have a different weapon. You can give them what you want, whereas in this they all get a kind of similar thing. I know they can mod them, but it's not the same. And you've got plasma and laser weapons, and they can all have the same thing. It's more interesting. It's got more things, and you've got the Exalt human-based enemies, the Enemy Within. So I think it's a better game, but unfortunately it's not on PlayStation 4. So I have to play on PlayStation 3 or on my PC, which I do sometimes. But anyway, we digress. So today, something that I've mentioned on the channel before, and I'm going to mention it again because it's something that I just think is odd. Of course there's reasons, but it's still odd. And you can tell what I'm going to say from the title of the video, which is, where is XCOM 3? And that's not a stupid question, it's not a strange question, and it's a weird thing because XCOM is the kind of go-to standard of turn-based games nowadays. You can't really play any turn-based game that's been made in the last 5 years without someone referring to XCOM. And even before that, when the older XCOM games. So it's the standard of turn-based games, and it's referred to so often. It was a very popular game, so were the previous XCOM games. So it's just really odd that another follow-up's not been made. There's so many games that are made that are rubbish. There's so many games that are made as follow-ups or remasters that nobody wants or aren't very good. And I don't think there's any question, and I don't think anyone could really question, that there would be a huge market for XCOM 3. For Axis, if you don't know, they're the people that made XCOM. They've made other games since, obviously. They made a game called Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is a turn-based game. I don't like superhero stuff generally, really, so it's not my thing, but some of the combat in that is interesting. There's some new bits, and obviously between XCOM 2 and Enemy Within, these bits and pieces they could take from both those games and Midnight Suns and make a fantastic XCOM 3. There's no question. And you think about the level of the graphics animations in XCOM 2 is fantastic. This is a mission I came into. I came out of it because I hadn't got the time to be annoyed, and I know that as soon as I go to try and defuse the bomb there's going to be some sector pod's going to come and try and kill me, so I kind of paused it. But the graphics are fantastic in XCOM 2 even now, and it's like, what, 8 years ago? I think it's 2018, isn't it? So yeah, 7-8 years ago. The graphics are fantastic. So imagine if you made XCOM 3 with even better graphics, and you kind of took all the good things from XCOM Enemy Within, the good things from XCOM 2, the good things from Midnight Suns, the good things that are just new things that XCOM could like take on board. It would be fantastic. But they haven't done it. And one of the things that made me kind of think about this more recently, and if you watch this channel a lot, you'll know I play quite a lot of PC games, although I don't do them on the channel. I might at some point actually do Steam games, but anyway, I've been playing lots of PC Steam games that are turn-based. Some of them are, well, I'll give you a kind of a rough idea. So like Rogue Trader, Warhammer Rogue Trader, Gears Tactics, Stellar Tactics, Colony Ships, Cyber Knights Flashpoint is another one, Xenonauts. So there's lots of turn-based games that I play on that to different levels. Some I've played a lot, some I played a little bit and thought, nah, but that's a different matter. But out of those games, they're all XCOM-like, and I've made this point in the channel before. So some of them are XCOM-like because the combat is XCOM-like, which is a specific XCOM thing which I've kind of got into previously, where you've got the facility to move each individual soldier agent on their own to different places. That's XCOM-like combat. Some of them are that. Some of them are XCOM-like in that they're sci-fi based, like Colony Ship and Stellar Tactics and Cyberknight's Flashpoint, and some are both. But they're all got XCOM-related aspects to them. There's other games that I'm not even mentioning that I don't play or I've not played that are like that. So there's so many games, especially on PC, that are XCOM-like games, and none of them are XCOM. And what I mean by that is I've played all those games quite a lot, different levels, like I said, and I would say that they've all, Rogue Trade is without any doubt the most complete game of those. It's obviously a much more AAA game than some of them from a bigger studio, but none of those games have exactly got what XCOM is. And I don't mean, it's a combination, it's a very hard thing to get right, where you've got the tactics part, you've got the combat part, you've got the story which you're feeling like you're building towards something and it's all relevant, but it's not weighed down in story or too vague and no story or too fiddly. It's got exactly the right balance, and most of those haven't quite got the right balance. Some of them have got better than XCOM parts to them, but overall the whole is not as good as XCOM. So if all those games, and they're all very popular, if you go on Steam you'll see they all got very positive reviews. Some are overwhelmingly positive, some are very positive, but they've all got very good reviews. They've all sold well, I think, as far as I know, and they're all well thought of. So you think, well, come on Fraxis, why don't you make XCOM 3? You know you can do it. You've already made Midnight Suns, which didn't really do that well, I don't think, but was a kind of XCOM-y, kind of superheroes-y kind of derivative. And you know that those kind of games sell well, and you know that people think well of XCOM 2 and the other XCOM games, the previous ones. So why won't you make it? What will be the reason? Yeah, I know they're doing other things, but what other things are they doing that are going to be better sellers than XCOM 3? I don't know. Actually, I don't know what they could do, especially in the world of video games now, where so many things are wokey, rubbish, controversial, something like something else. Something like XCOM that was XCOM would be fantastic. I think it would sell really well. I think it would be really popular. I think Firaxis could easily do it. They've shown with the transition between Enemy Within, and like I said, I think Enemy Within is a better game than XCOM 2, but between the two they've shown they know how to evolve the series. Like I said, there's things about it that I would have not changed, but they kind of simplified it into XCOM 2 from XCOM Enemy Within, and you know, some of it's good. So I think they could do it if they put their minds to it. I'm sure that, you know, they would have loads of ideas, and you know, like I said, with all the games that are a bit like this and all the games that already Firaxis have made that are like this, it could be done, and of course it could be done, and there'd be a huge market for it. So why hasn't it been done? I don't know. And often when you think about things like this, it's because the games in the past didn't really sell well, or there was something wrong with them, or they left it too long. But I don't think any of those things apply to XCOM. Like I said, it's always mentioned in every turn-based game you ever see, really. It's mentioned as an XCOM-like, or XCOM-like combat, or XCOM-like point systems, etc, etc. An XCOM franchise goes back a long time, so it's not that it's XCOM Enemy Within was what, 2010, something like that. So there was quite a lot of years between that and XCOM 2. So there's no reason that it can't be done, and it should be done. I think of all the games that I've played, and I'm not talking about games that I really like, you know, I love Watch Dogs Legion, but that's never going to get a sequel. We know why, because it wasn't popular. But of all the games I've ever played that I like and were very popular, this is a game where I can't see why there's no sequel. I can't understand. I get, you know, these games, like I said, Watch Dogs Legion, that I like, but it didn't go down well. Of course they won't make a sequel. I get these games that were made by smaller studios that either disappeared, or they've moved on, or they've been taken over, but none of those things apply to XCOM. So I don't know why they don't make another one. And I think it would be a fantastic seller. Now, with the way gaming is, they could make amazingly interesting DLCs. I've touched on DLCs lots of times on this channel, and lots of them are a waste of time. But if they're going to make games with DLCs, make good games that everybody wants with interesting DLCs. And I think this game, you know, War of the Chosen from XCOM 2 is a fantastic addition. So if you're going to make a game that everyone wants, and then make DLCs. I think this is a game set up for great DLCs and seasons and things. So come on, Firaxis, just get your finger out. Stop making games that nobody really wants, or games that aren't very good.
or trying to think up a new game when you've got the rights to the franchise that everybody wants to see a third of XCOM 3. So come on. Anyway, thanks for watching Guessagaingaming. I will now go and get killed trying to do this UFO thing. I think one of the best things in this game is the stealth sheet, where you can kind of go through stuff. That was the best addition to this game from the XCOM Enemy Within game. Yeah, see, look, there it is. I knew that. You know, when you play this game, you've played this game a lot, or any game actually, you know when you've set up your attack or your plan and it's kind of gone wrong because you've run out of time to set up properly. So I only had 2 turns left to turn off the distress beacon, and I ended up with everybody over there because there was a load of codex over there and other enemy idiots that needed killing, which is fine. I killed them all, and I did it really quickly actually, but not quickly enough to end up with everybody over there. And I need somebody over here to go here, so I ended up having to move one person on their own there, which is a very bad plan because they'll just get shot a bit. So the joys of turn-based games and the joys of XCOM. Anyway, thanks for watching Guessagaingaming. Till next time, take care for now.